I've seen showcases of this Minecraft mod pack online, and it makes Minecraft almost unrecognizable, but I always wondered, is this mod pack actually real? This is Conquest Reforged, and in today's video I wanted to showcase what it's like actually playing Minecraft with Conquest Reforged installed. So in today's video, I'm going to be building a couple of houses, showcasing all the different features that this mod pack includes. This is going to be a longer, chiller video, and it's not going to be super heavily edited, just so we can experience this mod pack together. So feel free to hang out with me for a little bit, or watch this video in the background if you'd like. Alright, so this is Conquest Reforged, which is a mod pack for Minecraft that totally overhauls the building. This is the house that we built in the previous episode here. It's kind of a simple house. I think today I want to slowly start working on new structures and slowly expanding our little settlement that we have here. Let's see, I'm thinking we can start clearing out some of these trees over here, and I really want to start terraforming as well. Thank you guys so much for subscribing. I really appreciate it, and shout out to all of the channel members. I absolutely adore you guys. So I was actually really surprised to see that you guys enjoyed these longer Let's Play type of videos. Ironic, you know what's kind of funny is the last couple of days I was kind of burnt out of playing Minecraft. I don't know if it was just because I was working a lot or what the problem was, but now I'm feeling like a lot more rejuvenated, I guess. Like I feel a lot more excited to actually come back and play and hang out with you guys for a little bit. So Conquest Reforged looks absolutely gorgeous. I love the way that this mod pack looks. People were asking how I'm able to get the game to run pretty smoothly. I did recently upgrade my graphics card, but I want to show you guys some of the settings that I always like to change. And a really big thing for making the game run smooth is go into the shadows here and turn your shadows down to 1024 or lower. I think when the game first starts up, it's at 4096, which is way too high, I feel like. So I tend to leave it at 1024. But the shadow resolution is huge. If you want the game to run smooth, turn that down and you'll notice a huge increase in frames per second. I'm thinking we can just kind of flatten out this land here, maybe clear out some of these trees, and we can totally have like a really nice big open space. I want to build a really huge stone kind of home here. So recently, I actually hired my friend Aaliyah, shout out to Aaliyah if she watches this, to design some channel emojis for me. I recently started doing memberships on this channel. It's called the Sexy Hair Club. $5 a month and you get access to these awesome emojis that my friend drew up for me. You also get to see all my videos before everyone else does. The reason I wanted to do kind of something like that instead of making exclusive members only videos is because I don't feel like everybody should have to pay for videos. I really just wanted to make the memberships for people who enjoy the content and want to get access to videos earlier, as well as some extra perks like the emojis and things. I think for the most part, I want to keep my builds fairly basic. I don't really want to use too many complex different blocks because I feel like that would just really make it kind of complicated. Whenever I play Minecraft, I tend to play a very like slow approach. I don't really like to rush things in Minecraft. And to be honest, I've only ever beaten the game one time. So I don't even really know like the optimal strat to do anything. All right, so let's put the stonecutter here. So we're gonna do a couple of different mixes here. We're gonna do light granite cobble, just so we can make the build look a little bit more textured and a little bit more interesting. I'm thinking we can just kind of lightly start outlining a rough little shape of a home here. It's gonna be kind of a wacky shape, but I think it'll turn out kind of cool. I'm thinking for the entrance, we'll kind of have it on this side maybe. Maybe we can actually extend out one of these pieces and a little bit better of an entrance, something like that. You kind of want a double door, so maybe we'll do a little bit like that. Now let's take our regular limestone cobble and start building up some of these corners here. Whenever I build, I tend to build very like simple and very blotchy kind of shapes like this, just because I feel like it gives the world a little bit more of an organic kind of feel. I don't know. Organic might not be the right word, but more of a natural kind of look and feel to things. But here's the really cool thing. We can take this light granite cobble and this will give us like a nice little break in some of the texturing. It just makes the stone look a lot more interesting when you actually use different blocks. So I'm thinking actually let's just fill in the rest of this with the limestone cobble, and then we'll come in and kind of pick out where we want the light granite. I think we're gonna slowly build up this little community. It's kind of funny. You can see my house on the hill there. You can see the storage room, and now you're gonna see my latest build, and they all just get progressively a little bit better each time. think for me, it always takes me a little bit before I actually start understanding how to use mod packs, I guess. I don't know. It always takes me a little while to learn everything. But once I do, I feel like I can really start moving. I was kind of messing around with this mod pack in creative mode, and it was a lot of fun. Just kind of experimenting with the different arches, the different layering blocks. So now I have like a lot better of an idea of how to actually start building things. We also kind of have this little stone cutout in the floor here. So if we need to gather more stone, we can easily gather that here instead of having to go back to the mine shaft. Let's light up this little area just a little bit. I want to slowly start securing the world a tiny bit. I was thinking of installing the NPC mod so we could start maybe putting custom villagers in these little homes. That'd be kind of cool, actually. So in the last episode, I was kind of confused why when I was making lanterns, they weren't really working. It turns out you have to use the debug stick to actually change the state that the lights are in. You know, for the most part, Conquest Reforged is a creative mode kind of mod pack, but with some tweaking and like a little bit of creative mode usage, you can actually, you know, for the most part, play it in survival mode. All right, now we're slowly starting to clear out the land and gather materials here. So we'll have plenty of wood to actually use for our house. You can kind of see like how dark the shader is. It really makes our little homestead here stand out a lot more against like the darkness out in the wilderness there. And let's actually take these planks and turn this into some of this ash tutoring here. And let's just kind of see what that kind of gets us here. Maybe let's fill in the edges of the house here with these blocks like this. Yeah, I feel like the tutoring looks a lot more interesting than just plain wood. I don't know if I want to do all tutoring on the second floor here or if I just want it in a couple of parts. Yeah, this will give our house like a really nice medieval kind of look, especially when we have a roof on it. So what I'm thinking for the roof is I really want to do a dark slate roof just like I did on that one. This space above us right now, this is going to sort of be our attic. I feel like that'd be a nice little spot for an attic. And there's this thing called a tall oak door, which I really want to try out here. So check these out. These are actually really, really cool. This is how we're going to really make our build kind of stand out here. So let's place these just like that. So you can see it looks kind of weird because there's no overhang on it, but check this out. If we come in here and we actually put arches over that door, it's going to look really, really cool. Check this out. If we put these arches like this, we can actually adjust where the arches kind of look. So now you can see we have like this beautiful arched kind of doorway. This looks so freaking cool. Yeah, this looks awesome. Just simple stuff like that really makes a build kind of stand out. And then on this side, we're gonna do like less of an arch. So on this side, we have a Gothic arch, which is more of a pointy look. And on this side, we have a rounded arch, which is just, you know, more chill. So I'm thinking I really want a bunch of arched windows on the first floor here. So we're gonna have to actually take some of these walls and extend them a little bit. And let's continue the theme of having the limestone wall as our kind of base layer. I think the limestone wall looks really good. You can kind of see it almost looks like moss. So it makes sense that it'd be on the ground level here. So what I was thinking is we could even make maybe an exterior kind of basement. I think that would actually be really cool. So here's my vision for this. What we can kind of do is lower this little part here, and then we'll kind of extend the stone down this way. Oh, this is gonna actually turn out really kind of cool. And then I'll build a staircase down here just to give the build an extra little pizzazz here. Now we have these beautiful like arched windows kind of looking out. It's really, really cool. And we'll do another one on this side. But maybe instead of having a full window on this side, I kind of want to do something a little bit different. We're gonna have to actually bring our stone cutter inside. Our house is slowly coming together here. You can see the arches really make the build look a lot better. And we can actually come in with additional objects like shutters and things and really start making these windows stand out. So here's my idea for this. Let's take these diagonal blocks and turn these into vertical slabs like this. So then the window doesn't take up the entire block. So now it looks like the window's kind of pushed inward. This mod's about just a lot of experimentation and things, kind of figuring out what works and what doesn't work for you. I kind of like that look. There is also these things called facades, which we could try as well. There's just so many different things we can try out here. So how arches kind of work is there's two different types of arches. There's these full block arches, and then there's also these arches called facades. Now the facades are more of like a decorative layer, and what you can kind of do with them is you can use it to make the windows look like the window itself is actually arched. So it's kind of this like illusion. Okay, so to make a facade, we need to come in here with our limestone cobble, these full brick arches here. And we can turn this into facades. Now it kind of looks like the window itself is actually curved. Nice little subtle detail. There we go. Now it gives our windows like a nice little frame. I guess we could even do some on these windows as well, but it's going to be kind of weird with these ones right here, just because they're connected almost. All right, so now let's start working on the upstairs here. I'm really liking how this house is turning out so far. It's going to look really good once we have like an actual roof on it. Right now it just looks like kind of a blocky mess. This is where free cam comes in handy, just so we can actually reach the outside of the build. Now things are kind of framed out a little bit. Now we want to start making a slate roof. Let's take some of these oak slabs. And what we can do is we can actually pop these on the outside here, and it kind of gives these windows like a little bit of a frame sort of look, which I think will really help it look a lot nicer. There we go. So you can see it's just a subtle little outcropping for the window, just to make it look slightly more interesting. All right, let's sleep through the night, and we'll finish the roof in the daytime here. Yeah, this might actually work. Okay, this is gonna be kind of wacky. That's the only downside of totally freestyling things, is sometimes it can be kind of hard to figure out, but I think we're gonna make it work here. I think kind of having the roof go into this part of the build is just going to make it look kind of interesting. Now you can see the roof is slowly starting to take shape here. So the roof is going to kind of have this really weird, I really want to experiment with the roof a little bit here. So normally I do roofs out of just stairs, but I really want to take advantage of being able to use vertical slabs and things. So check this out. This is going to give this roof kind of this really steep look, and I think it'll really make this build stand out here. Sometimes it's kind of hard for me to like get perspective on things. That's why I love tools like FreeCam. So check this out. We can actually fill this part in like this. Let's take these vertical slabs and we can bring it out like that. So you can see even just like that slight little half slab right there really graduates nicely into the roof up here. We're gonna slowly finish this roof, but you can kind of see even with the roof partially done, the house already looks a lot better. I really love how the slate roof looks compared to the light brick that's underneath it. This is kind of funny. This is how I normally play Minecraft anyways. Like I don't really ever go after like end game gear. I tend to just start building right away. I don't know if any of you guys kind of relate to that, or if you like to just start going after end game gear as soon as possible. So yeah, you can see with the roof on, the house is starting to look a little bit better. We'll have to kind of go in there and actually start working on the bottom floor, like the walls and things, to make those look better. But other than that, we're doing just fine. Actually, to kind of make this side look a little bit less dramatic, I was thinking what we could do is actually bring these out one more. So now there's multiple layers. You have this slab and then that slab and then the stair. That makes it look a lot more graduated, I feel like, and a lot more natural kind of. Makes the roof not look so steep as if it is blocks. Now it looks like it's just really steep kind of stairs. Yeah, that immediately looks way better to me. So sometimes if your builds aren't looking, if you're not happy with how your builds are turning out, you can try stuff like that, where you just come in, maybe add a window or something. That's what I tend to do. I like to do stuff like that all the time. So check this out. We can take these quarter blocks and kind of pop them out like that. And that's exactly what I was looking for, because I wanted just a really slight overhang. And we'll definitely have to come down on the bottom floor and actually start detailing the walls and things. And then we'll come in here and actually start making furniture as well. Yeah, the house is coming together very nicely. I kind of want to find a way to extend the tutoring out like an extra block. I think that would kind of work. Or maybe we could find a way to kind of outline the edges here. That'd be kind of interesting. Let's do that actually. There's all kinds of ways we can kind of give this build extra depth without necessarily extending the blocks that we're using. So let's kind of come in here. Let's take some of this dry limestone wall actually. There we go. I feel like that makes this wall like a little bit more interesting. Now it looks like this wall has a lot more like structure to it rather than it being flat. So I think we'll go with something like this. All right, so what I want to do now is actually take some of this light granite cobble and actually come in here and texture the walls a little bit like we did in the beginning. So let's just kind of come in here, texture it out just a little bit, just to make the house look a little bit more visually interesting. Yeah, just having a nice mix of different blocks really kind of enhances the look. I do kind of want to do maybe like a border, some sort of bordering block between this and the wooden tutoring. Not really sure what we could use. Maybe we could use arches, but like facades of arches. I think that'd be kind of interesting. Let's just kind of come in here and fill in sort of where I feel like it'd look kind of cool. And you can kind of apply this same sort of mindset, but in vanilla, you just use different color blocks. Maybe instead of cobblestone, you use smooth stone and things like that. Yeah, this is actually looking really cool. Ooh, we could actually add maybe little window sills out here. That'd be kind of nice as well. I do like how this framing turns out, but I'm not quite sure how I want to frame out this side. It actually looks cool using the lighter block for that roof section right there. I think the house is coming together pretty nicely here. Looks really nice, especially with the tutoring wood and the stone and the dark roof. Really complements it really nicely here. Let's see, let's take some of these ash planks and see if we can actually turn these into siding. Okay, so we can make vertical quarters. So what I really want to do is I kind of want to frame out the window like that. That'll give the second floor much more depth, I feel like. Cool, that kind of works. Just gives the wall like extra depth and makes it a little bit more interesting to look at. Then we can do the same on this side actually. So far the house is looking really nice. I really like that. I feel like the arched windows and the arched door really makes the house stand out. And then I obviously want to landscape the front of it, so maybe we'll add like leaves and different trees and things out in the front. It'll look really nice. Ooh, you know what we can actually do? Let's turn some of these torches into actual lanterns to light the house up with. I think that would look really cool. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Those look really cool. So what we have to actually do is we need to look up the debug stick, which is like this special tool. And what we need to do is right click so it kind of sucks. It doesn't let us actually activate the lanterns unless we're in creative mode. That's why I was saying, like, with this mod, you mainly have to use it with creative mode because there's a lot of things that you can't quite do in survival mode, for example. Yeah, this is just one of those weird things where you can definitely tell the mod is more intended for creative mode and things. There we go. Now the house has some light kind of shining, so that way it actually stands out in the daytime. So now that the exterior of the house is done, I want to actually kind of mess around in creative mode just so we can really start decorating it. I was kind of trying to mess around with building the furniture and things, but a lot of the furniture, you can only access it through creative mode. So hopefully you guys don't mind that. So I think for this entranceway, I want it to kind of be this kind of place where you can stash all your clothes and things and kind of... Right, so for the entranceway, I kind of want to put something like this clothes hanger right here. You can throw like coats and things on there, something like that. And then maybe some of these, something like this thing like that. That looks pretty cool. I think I like that. That looks kind of cool. Then over here, maybe we can do like a little table and like chest and things. I really like this rounded chest. This looks really cool, actually. Now it looks like just a little spot where we stash all of our stuff. I like that. That looks kind of cozy and nice, actually. Just a nice small little entranceway. Maybe we could do like a little bit of a carpet here as well. Let's try this cashmere carpet. That actually looks kind of nice. That actually looks really freaking cool. For some reason, I like it when the rugs are kind of weird shaped like this. That looks pretty sweet. Yeah, I'm honestly not sure how I want to do the kitchen exactly. I think it's just going to be a very basic kitchen here. Actually, I like the look of this dining table like type thing. Maybe we don't need to make a kitchen. Maybe we'll just make like a little dining room. So we'll do a spruce table, do the spruce little chairs here. Change the orientation of the chair. Yeah, I kind of like this look. Just a nice little seating area. So we have the entranceway, nice little eating area. And then this area could be more of like just a seating area. Oh, this is actually kind of cool. We can throw these books on the ground like this. Ooh, this actually looks really cool. I like that. We can just scatter all these books all over the place. That's a really cool decorative block. And then over here, let's do a rack of some sort. I really like these books, so I'm gonna put some more there. And I really wanna do a weapon rack in here. So let's do this rack of swords. I think that would just look good right there. Actually, for the entranceway, let's kind of see what all these different racks look like. I kind of like this rack. This one looks more like farmer tools and things. I think we'll go with that. That looks fine to me. That's a cozy little entranceway. Nice little library in here for reading and writing and stuff. We'll use flower pots and we'll put birch saplings in them. I think these will look kind of nice, just spread around the house a little bit. Nice light little decoration here. So we got a nice little seating area on this side. Nice little entranceway to the home. And you come through here and then you have another little library. Let's do some more rugs as well. There we go. Now this room's like nice and lit up. I think this looks actually really cozy, especially just sitting here, writing, enjoying the nice glow of the fire and the books. You have this nice little hallway through here, nice basic little seating area where you can eat and things. So the good thing about being in creative mode is you can middle click and it'll give you whatever block you're looking at, which is really cool. But another thing too is if I press B on the keyboard, it brings up this scroll wheel and this shows you all the different blocks you can turn this singular block into. So let's grab some oak slabs like this and just kind of fill in where the floor is stone. And now I want to make like a little seating area up here. So let's grab some stools. I really like the way this reading nook looks. This just looks super cozy to me. I'm loving this. This is perfect. Okay, so we have a nice cozy little bedroom up here. Now let's actually start working on the attic the basement underneath here. Hopefully you guys don't mind that I switched into creative mode for the second half of this video. I just feel like this mod was really designed for creative mode too. So to get the most out of it, you kind of have to play in creative mode. But the house was mostly built in survival here. So yeah, I think a nice little basement would be super cool, and we could just fill it with wine barrels and things. Actually, this looks really good. It's gonna be kind of small, but it'll definitely be functional. So I just think it'd be really cool to have a basement in a house like this. This maybe is where they store all of their crops and things under the ground and things so it stays colder for longer. That's kind of my idea behind this. I'm sort of making this up as I go, honestly. Yeah, that actually looks kind of cool. I like that. Maybe we can make this staircase like a little bit less claustrophobic so we can make it 2 instead of just 1 wide, if that makes sense. And I love how the textures kind of connect so everything just blends in nice and smoothly. And I do want to build like a nice little gate around the house, just kind of mix matching my blocks here a little bit. And then down here, I think it'd be kind of cool if we did something like this, and this is just kind of like maybe a little drain or something. That looks kind of cool. And this is just like a little drain that goes into wherever, just so this area doesn't get flooded. Now let's just add some barrels of like food and things down here. Maybe the walls don't have to be totally flat down here. There can be little bits that kind of stick out or like kind of go in like that. Kind of gives the illusion that this isn't like the most perfect kind of basement here. I like these tall barrels. These are kind of cool for some reason. Yeah, there we go. Now we have a nice little storage basement kind of thing. So what we can do is to make the roof look a little bit better, let's actually grab some slabs and we can just kind of throw these on the roof like that, cover up where the wood is, I guess. And we can even kind of throw these in here as well to make the basement not look super finished off here. Large crate of food, that actually looks really cool. Oh, this is perfect. That's exactly what I was looking for actually. Do something like that, do a little barrel up there. Yeah, this is actually perfect. This is totally what I was looking for. Maybe the wheelbarrow can kind of move this way a little bit. And I want like a nice big iron gate leading to the house. Actually, while we're here, we can work on this slope as well. Let's grab the grass block and turn this into the grass block layer here. Now we can give this like a much more smooth kind of look. Now this hill is a lot more sloped and a lot more gradual rather than it being super blocky. We can even use some of these things to add extra depth to the side here as well, the little grass layers like that. So you can see, landscaping is definitely one of my favorite things to do in Minecraft. So I could definitely spend just hours and hours landscaping like builds like this. So for the entranceway, I want it to go this way, and the entrance is going to be kind of off this pathway here. We may have to actually get rid of some of this mountain, that way we can have like a proper, my vision for this is I want like a really like almost grand kind of entranceway. So we'll just have to push this mountain back just a tiny little bit here. I want this home to be a little bit more stately, so I'm adding this kind of wall around everything. Okay, now for this, I want there's this really cool iron gate that I want to use. Yeah, that's kind of what I was going for, this nice little, maybe we could make the entranceway kind of come up this way and meet the pathway right here. That'd be kind of a cool idea. But for some reason, I like the wall being on this side, but I kind of want to leave this side a little bit more open. So maybe we'll do like an actual fence on this side instead of the wall. Yeah, I'm having a lot more fun actually playing in creative mode rather than trying to do everything in survival. I feel like this mod really lends itself to creative mode. Okay, so let's find some fences. Thinking just a simple oak fence would do us just fine here. Ooh. Actually, this looks perfect right here. There we go. Now this house has like a nice little backyard that maybe if they have kids, the kids could probably play in, or if they have a dog. Then let's take our bone meal. We're gonna have to kind of force the tree to grow really tall. That kind of works. Technically, we can actually come in here with these oak logs, and you can turn the oak logs into like branches and stuff. Okay, I'm not really sure how to use the oak branches, but what we can do is we can use these vertical slabs. See, now it looks a little bit more interesting just by doing that. Now we got a cozy looking little stately kind of home here. That actually looks really freaking cool. Holy crap. And you can kind of tell this one compared to this one. Huge difference in what I was able to kind of come up with. I've slowly learned, I'm slowly learning all the different blocks that you can actually use in this mod pack. So let's give this house a little bit of a walk around. So I really love these iron gates here. I think today I want to make another house, but I figure we should start off by touring this one. So coming through the gate here, we can either head to the basement or we can head through the front door. You can see the front door has like this beautiful little archway that goes around it. I really like this. And this is also the tall oak doors that Conquest Reforged introduces. So let's head down to the basement. You can see down here, another one of the tall doors. Come through here. This is the basement. It's not too big. My idea for the basement was honestly, you would just kind of store your food down here, and since it's underground, it'd be like a little bit colder. And this mod offers so many different objects, as you can see. Bunch of different little food items and things, some wine, a wine press, and then just a wheelbarrow with extra like materials and things. And you can kind of see with the walls, I added these like little cutouts and things to make it seem like maybe the wall's missing some bricks or something. I added these little archways underneath here because I felt like, oh, if it rains a lot, this area would get flooded. So I added like a little drain, I guess is what that would be. And then there's like a little window that goes into the basement here. Yeah, that's the basement. I really like the basement. It's kind of simple, but I really love the different blocks that we're able to use in this game. So before we head inside, I want to kind of notice some of the exterior details. So you can see all the windows have a nice little archway. You can see some of on the corners here, I decided to add these slabs to the side that kind of give the corner a little bit more weight. I feel like it makes the house have a lot more depth and just makes it look a lot more interesting having these little, they're called vertical slabs, and you can see you can just add these to the side of walls like that. And you can really use that to push some of the walls out and give it a little bit more weight and make walls seem a little bit more substantial. And you can see all the windows have these really beautiful arches. I feel like simple things like arches really make this mod stand out. I feel like this is what really makes this house look good, is the windows and things. Nice tall window on this side and smaller windows. And you can see up here on the second level, I decided to use wood tutoring just to give it a nice, instead of it being all stone, I feel like the tutoring on the second floor makes this house look a lot better and a lot more homey, I guess. And then I continued the stone up on the attic up there. And I really like this darker roof. I think for the house we're building today, I really want to use this dark slate roof again. I added some kind of vines growing off the side of the roof. It doesn't really make sense that there'd be vines growing on the roof, but I feel like it just looks kind of cool. And then I also added this nice little stone wall around the front of the house. And then for the backyard, I went with this wooden fence. Then we also have an oak tree here. Same thing with the walls. I decided to add these vertical slabs to the oak tree to make it look a little bit wider on the bottom. So it's just a normal oak tree, but I just have these oak slabs on the side of it just to make it look a little bit more interesting. If I open up the build menu here, you can see you can make branches, pillars, all kinds of different things with just the oak log here. So let's head inside here really quick and give you guys a proper look on the inside of it. So coming through here, I love how the lanterns kind of look. So if you come through the tall front doors here, you can see we have a nice little entranceway here. Nice cozy little stop as you're making your way through the house, so you can put your coat up. Put your keys away, put all your equipment away for the day. There's plenty of storage in here to put all of your items. You can see maybe you left your like boots on the ground. You don't want to be walking around through the house with like muddy boots on. So yeah, I like the entranceway. It's really simple. You have some nice windows. These windows are on the taller block here, so it kind of lets the light shine downward into this room, which I really like. And then coming through here, the archways kind of continue through. And we have a nice little seating area. It actually looks really cool with the sunlight coming through that window. So just a simple little seating area with light decorations. You have candles above the table. I wanted to make a kitchen, but honestly, I had no idea how to do that. So that's not what ended up happening. But we got some food on the table. We got some tankards, baskets of fruits, obviously some boots and things. And this mod actually offers, so many different objects. I decided this house was going to be a little bit more wealthy, so we have this nice little grandfather clock in here. Nice little rug through the hallway, down the hallway. Some cabinets here that you can open up or leave open, whatever you want to do. It's kind of cool having it open, but I feel like it kind of blocks the hallway. So that's the kitchen. This is the little hallway through. And right here is this is actually just a dark tree leaf. And then we have this Egyptian flower pot. So it's a nice little, I feel like this really adds to the room. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with this hallway, but I felt like just putting it like a simple little planter in here really made this hallway feel a lot nicer. So I went with that idea. Over here is just a little bit of a library type room. So you have a chessboard here. You can play chess if you have some guests that come over. You can see we have a nice little bookshelf here. And this mod offers so many different clutter objects, like these books on the ground. These are really cool. I love the way these look. So yeah, this mod offers so many different clutter objects. So I added these little bottles. Maybe someone was drinking while they were playing chess. There's an hourglass. Just a cozy little seating area to relax. And then I didn't really plan like a proper staircase up, but this would be the bedroom. And you have a nice beautiful view outside to the farms. You can see the windows some of the windows are closed. They have shutters on the outside of them. And yeah, this is the bedroom. Right here is kind of like the wardrobe area. I wanted to add a mirror here, but the mirror just ended up looking kind of weird, so didn't end up going with that. Simple little bedroom. And then the bedroom actually probably has my favorite seating area, just because you have books on all sides of it, and you can sit here and drink from this wine bottle here. Looks really cool. Okay, so yeah, today I want to actually build another house today here. And I was debating if I wanted to play with shaders on or not, so let me turn them off really quickly. And this is what it would look like without shaders. So let me know if you guys prefer shaders on or off. I like how the game looks without shaders, but I think when most people play this mod, or when most people see this mod, they think of it with shaders on, so I'll leave them on for now. And let's try and find ourselves a nice little spot that we can build here. Let's just continue down this way. Maybe we can build something kind of nice right here. This is a nice open little plot of land here. And we're going to keep the building palette roughly the same. So what's kind of cool with this mod is you can go up to any block that you like and just middle click on your scroll wheel, and it gives you whatever block you were looking at. So let's start off with the masonry here. And what I always like to do is my houses tend to be kind of oddly shaped. I think this area kind of would be a nice little backyard type space. So whenever I first started playing Minecraft, I would always try to plan my builds out like perfectly, and they would end up terrible. So what I've been doing a lot recently is I've honestly just been kind of freestyling a lot of my builds. So the builds, they end up having these really cool, wacky kind of shapes just because I don't plan them out as much. So yeah, thank you guys so much for all the support on this series. I was actually really happy to see that you guys enjoy these longer, like, let's play type videos. These are definitely the type of videos I would watch when I was a kid, so I'm really excited to see that you guys enjoy them as much as I enjoy making them. I feel like that's a cool little shape. So what I like doing, I kind of go in the corners here and I kind of build them up a little bit with these kind of walls. So this is going to be more of like, I guess, the foundation level. So the foundation of the house is made out of this masonry. And I just kind of come up here and lightly start building things up. So this house is almost going to be a kind of a reverse of this house. On this house, what I did was I made most of it out of cobble, and then I came in with the light granite and sprinkled that in. But this time, I'm going to use the limestone cobble as kind of the accent color. So I'll kind of showcase that a little bit later. So yeah, it's going to be mostly kind of like a lighter gray palette here. There's literally, I'm pretty sure this mod offers literally 14,000 different blocks, which is kind of ridiculous. At first I was a little bit overwhelmed with how many blocks that this adds, but as I've played with Conquest Reforged, I slowly started figuring things out, and it's not as overwhelming as it seems. So what I was saying with the limestone cobble is if we come in here, we can just kind of dot this around a little bit. Actually put stuff like this, kind of build that corner out like that. But you can come in with your limestone cobble and just kind of sprinkle this in here. You can really do this to make the build look a lot more textured and a lot more interesting visually. And this is kind of a technique that I learned when I was just playing a lot of vanilla Minecraft, is mixing different block palettes and things. It's kind of weird depending on the mod pack I'm kind of playing. If I'm playing like the alpha versions of the game or like the beta versions of the game, my builds tend to be more simple. But if I'm playing like a mod pack like this, I tend to just go crazy with the texturing. You just kind of want to dot around like where you think it would look kind of cool. So we'll go with that. So we need to actually build this up one more high. And some of the walls we need to actually make them too thick, so that way we can add even more depth. So this is a trick you can use even in just regular Minecraft. The more depth you add to the build, the more interesting it's going to look, so the more layers. So if we come over here, you can kind of see the wall is mostly flat, but by adding these kind of slabs, adding these little windows, how they go in, I guess the best way to describe it is you're building by layers. So this window is the first layer, it goes out one block. And then this block is the second layer. And then it goes out kind of a half block with these slabs. So it ends up being 3 layers just for a simple wall. So yeah, you can see you have the base layer of the tutoring, and then it goes out with these little slabs. So yeah, the more layers you add to a build, the better it's going to kind of look. So we got the first floor mostly done. And I'm kind of thinking I want more of like a darker kind of palette here for the floors and things. So let's see what kind of planks we can do. Let me see how these brown painted planks kind of look. I actually really like these. These planks look really like mocha-y, I guess is kind of a nice word for it. I kind of build my houses sort of, the way I think about it is I try to start off really simple and then I come in and decorate after the fact. So I don't really worry about actually trying to decorate as I'm building. I just kind of start off simple and then I come in later and actually decorate it. And that's kind of my building process. Whenever I first started playing, I would always try to like when I was first playing Minecraft, I would always try to finish the build as I was building it. And I would just, I don't know, I would like make myself so frustrated because I was trying to make a finished product without actually giving it time to, you know, finish basically. Like I would try to decorate it as I was building it and it would just end up terrible. I really like this floor actually. This looks really good with the lighter colored walls. So what's kind of cool is the reason I love this mod so much is because if let's say I lose all these different blocks, I don't have to come in here. I don't have to come into the inventory and search for them. I can just middle click whatever blocks I need access to again. So it's actually really, really cool. All right, so that's that done. Then I'm thinking I want to do tutoring, but I don't want the darker one. I kind of want a lighter. You can see with this shader pack, the amount of contrast is actually kind of crazy. It really, really looks so cool. It kind of reminds me of like the beta versions of Minecraft. If you've ever played beta 1.7.3. Yeah, as much as I liked playing survival mode on Conquest Reforged, I just feel like it takes so much time to gather all the materials to actually build things that most of the time I'm just in the stone cutter screen trying to like figure out what blocks to use. So I feel like this is a much more enjoyable thing to watch. And it's a lot more enjoyable for me to play as well. I'm not really much of a survival mode player, to be honest. Like, I have survival worlds that I've played on, but the way I like to play these days is I love to just build things. So creative mode is definitely my thing. Nice little base kind of thing here. So what we can kind of do is now I want to sort of figure out where do I want the windows. So what's kind of nice is if we press the B key, we can actually come in here and whatever block we're holding, it gives us all the different block options. So we're going to want to use these arches like that. Gives it a nice kind of look. I kind of like these Gothic arches. I feel like these look really nice. The entranceway is going to be a little bit offset, so it's going to be kind of weird. But it might work. We might be able to make it work here. We don't really have to make these walls thick because there's this thing called archway facades that I'll kind of showcase here in a little bit. So I kind of want the entranceway to come through here, and then you have these taller sort of windows on the side. And then we can make these windows right here. There we go. I feel like the arch windows really make things stand out. Okay, so this is going to be this way. I think this area is going to be more of like a study. That's sort of what I'm envisioning for this. Nice little archway through. This is going to be the study. I kind of want this to be like a hallway, I guess. This will be like a nice long hallway. That'll lead to the little study room. Maybe we should do a centralized staircase. That's something that I don't normally do. And then I'll come back in here later with different blocks and start texturing the walls a little bit better. But for now, I just want basic little layout that we can come in and decorate later. Like I was saying, it's much easier to actually decorate something than it is to try and build it finished. I actually really like how the roof kind of looks. And we can fill this hallway with like tons of paintings and things. I think having like a nice little arch window up here would look kind of cool. This is actually this is going to turn out super nice. Yeah, that looks cool. We can actually do another one over here too, just so this side looks like uniform and things. And then I want to do kind of a side door out this way. That way we can get to the backyard from the kitchen. So it's going to be a small little dining room, small little kitchen, storage room type thing. So for the staircase, I'm not quite sure how I want to do it. There we go. Just something really simple. Not like the most grand staircase in the world, but it does work here. So what we can kind of do to make this look a little bit better is we can actually come in here and use slabs instead of full blocks for these like landings. And this will kind of make this look a little bit better. Now it gives us more of a wraparound kind of effect. It's kind of a waste of space, but I think it'd be kind of nice if we had like an overlook right here, like looking into the entranceway. That'd be kind of cool, like a railing. We have a nice big window right up here. Ooh, yeah. We're gonna do that, honestly. Nice like arched, I'm thinking like stained windows or something looking through here. That would be kind of cool, actually. Maybe we could put the entrance on the side of the house. I don't know how I feel about having like a 3 wide. Let's see if we can pull this off here. I guess technically we could do something like that. Yeah, I can't quite get it to connect the way I'm wanting it to, but that kind of works. I guess we could do a 3 wide kind of look here. There we go. Now there's a nice tall entranceway that you're walking into, and then there's gonna be like big stained glass looking through here. Yeah, this is gonna be cool, actually. All right, now let's start figuring out where we want the bedroom. So I'm gonna start filling the floor here. Now for the bedrooms, I'm thinking we're gonna have one on this side, like right above the study, basically. I want to continue the theme of having like stone interior walls. I feel like the stone walls with the brick or with the dark floor just looks kind of nice. I guess this house is going to be a 2-bedroom kind of deal. I was gonna say, if we had, if this was an exterior wall, I think having a window right here would be kind of cool, but maybe we can do a chandelier up top. Or maybe even a skylight would actually be kind of crazy. We want to start doing the windows on the 2nd floor here. It's kind of, for me, it's sort of a mix between like continuity from the bottom floor to the top floor, and then also doing the top floor doing its own thing, if that makes sense. I like using a mix of like really tall windows and these thinner like slat kind of windows. I just feel like it gives it a nice little mix up. And just kind of fill these in. I feel like once you put the windows in, now the house really starts looking like an actual house. What we have to actually do here is turn these into facades. So you can see the facade, you can put it over the block, whereas the actual arches take up the entire block. So there we go. So you can see it still gives it that arch look without having to take up multiple blocks. Honestly, this brown stained glass looks kind of cool. Ooh, that's actually perfect. What does this look like on the outside? Oh yeah, that looks really cool actually. Maybe we'll do this for the second floor. For some reason, I don't like it when windows are right next to interior walls like that. I just feel like it looks really cluttered. So I'm gonna go with that kind of look here. So yeah, I'm actually really excited how this house is turning out. This is pretty much my entire building process, honestly. It's just starting off with like really simple things and then coming in after the fact and decorating it. So let's kind of just get rid of all these blocks just so I can have a nice clear inventory. And what I really like these dark slate roof tiles. The thing I really love about this mod is being able to kind of see how my builds progress over time with it. Kind of the cool part about having a weird shaped house like this is the roofs end up looking really cool because the shape of the house is so weird. Yeah, I don't know, for some reason this mod like really made me enjoy building in Minecraft again. At first it was really kind of mind-boggling how many different blocks it adds, but at the core of it, it is still just Minecraft. So normally whenever I build roofs, I always tend to just do like all stairs, but recently I've been doing this thing where I'll alternate between stairs and full blocks. In order to make the roof look less blocky, what I can actually do is make some more vertical slabs and kind of place them on the side of the roof, which I'll show off here in a second. So I just want to get the rough little outline here done with the blocks, and then I'll come in and alternate with stairs and things. Yeah, right now the roof looks really blocky, but what we can do is if we come in here, we can turn these full blocks into slabs and bring them out like that, and it gives the roof like this much more graduated kind of look, so it doesn't look so blocky. So this is just like one of those examples of like things that the mod offers to really enhance your builds. The way to kind of think of these slabs in this mod is kind of think of it like the snow block in just vanilla Minecraft, where you can place it layer by layer. Yeah, honestly, this house is turning out really nice. It's gonna look really nice once we start detailing it. So yeah, you can see just adding simple things like this really helps your builds go from just ordinary looking to like really cool looking. All right, so with the vertical slabs, I kind of like going on these corners like this, doing 2 on the bottom and then 1 on the top. Then it looks like there's actually like columns kind of going up. So yeah, I think the tiny little details like this are how you really make builds that kind of stand out here. You just kind of have to eyeball it and sort of see what looks good and what doesn't. So yeah, I think just doing simple little things like that make the entranceway actually look a lot better now. Now there's like multiple layers of depth. Using upside down stairs for overhangs like that is perfect. Even just in vanilla Minecraft, you can do that. Pretty much most of my building style comes from vanilla Minecraft, and Conquest just kind of lets me enhance it a little bit. The outside of the house is mostly done. So the way I kind of go about designing where I want the leaves is I kind of look at where looks plain, right? So this looks kind of plain. So what I'll do is I'll just kind of overhang these leaves just a little bit off the roof. There we go. That looks a lot nicer. I like doing them in the corners for some reason. Like, it doesn't really make sense why there would be leaves growing off the roof, but I think it looks good, honestly, so we're going with it. All right, so for the entranceway, I'm thinking we can just kind of copy what we did in this house. All right, so for the entranceway, let's just kind of do a nice little... For some reason, I like it when the rugs aren't perfectly like square. I think they just look a lot more interesting this way. All right, now we definitely want a chandelier. Ooh, that's perfect, actually. That's actually really cool. Big old chandelier up top. All right, so I'm thinking we can add some books and things, just random. Ooh, actually that vase looks kind of cool. It looks a little bit out of place, but I kind of like it for some reason. Well, that's actually really cool. You can sort of see the chandelier through the window. So you come in, you can sit down, put your boots down and things. I like this entranceway. This is nice. You have your muskets when you're ready to go out and hunt and things. Yeah, I feel like the entranceway is looking pretty nice. So I'm thinking for this spot, let's throw an urn in here. All right, now I'm thinking let's kind of work on the study here. This is why I absolutely adore this mod, being able to not have to use full blocks for the bookshelf. With the grandfather clock right here, and then we'll have like a nice little seating area right here. Having a nice little cabinet underneath here would work really well. Maybe instead of chairs, we should do stools, actually. I think that would look better. We could just do something like that. I feel like that kind of gives it a cozy little vibe for some reason. And then let's just grab another one of these, and then let's see what kind of leaves we can put in here. Maybe we could put, you know what, actually that looks way better. That looks a lot more, now it feels a lot more like homey and woody kind of. Yeah, this is perfect. I like this. So this is the library, kind of a smaller library sort of thing. And then up here we can do like a chessboard. I think that would look kind of cool. Let's grab a chessboard, put that on there. There we go. That's a cute little study room, I feel like. All right, now work on the dining room and kitchen type thing here. I'm not the best with dining rooms or designing them, but I think this looks kind of nice. It's like a little bit cluttered, but so you can actually, there's an option where you can turn the offset toggle on and off. So if we toggle it to false, we can't walk through it, but if we toggle it to on, we can walk through it. And then there's also these cast iron pans that I think look kind of cool. There we go. So now we just have like a nice little kitchen. We can come through here and go all the way up. And then this is our overlook to see downstairs there. And then this is going to be one bedroom, and this will be another bedroom. So let's find some doors that we can throw in here. There we go. I really like these wooden doors. I feel like these look like actual bedroom doors. All right, so what we can do with the floor here to get rid of some of this stone, we can just kind of cover it up like that. I feel like the owner of this house would be like this kind of intellectual type person, just spends a lot of time in his study. Yeah, maybe he has a telescope that looks out this way. Maybe he's an astronomer or something. All right, so yeah, this is kind of like his little study. Nice little plant right there in the corner. Yeah, this is a cozy little spot. I like this actually. All right, let's go work on the other bedroom here. This room's gonna be a little bit more simple. Oh, you know what? Maybe instead of a bedroom in here, grab some of these stools, and what we can do is we can have this like day bed looking thing in here, kind of like that. So like if someone does want to stay in this room, they can. There's just not a lot of accommodations for them. There we go. Perfect. I like that. I really like that. Cool. All right, so I think the inside of the house is mostly done. Maybe we should just grab a couple of rugs, see if we can do something with these. This yellow-red Persian rug looks like. Ooh, this is really pretty actually. I like this. And then technically we could put a rug down here. All right, let's give the house a little bit of a full walk around here. Come through the entrance. You have a beautiful little entryway here, where you can put all of your stuff away, put all your things that you've gathered on your travels. You have a nice bench that you can sit so you can kick your boots off. Let's actually grab these because I want to throw these in one of the bedrooms. Make your way through to this beautiful little hallway. To the left, we have our little seating area, our little library that you can study at and play chess at. Coming this way, you have a beautiful little dining room, very little dining room with a kitchen. And you can come back out here. I think we'll actually work on the backyard a little bit later. Now we can head upstairs to the living room, or the actual bedrooms. Beautiful Persian rug. You can overlook the entryway. You can have a nice view of the candles here. Coming through here to our first bedroom. Looks really good actually. You know what? Let's come down here and grab the Gothic frames and throw these on the windows. Ooh, yeah. That's actually perfect. That's what we needed for this one. Let's throw these boots somewhere. I think having the boots on the floor just kind of makes sense for this room. More of a cluttered kind of bedroom, office space. All right, so we come out of the study room, or the guest bedroom. Now we can come through here to the main bedroom. So you have like a nice actual bed. Again, another study, some paintings, some plants, a bunch of different scrolls, nice little telescope. I'm thinking the person that lives here is kind of an astronomer, because whenever you come up here, there's that like skylight that we made earlier, which I think looks really cool. But yeah, that's this house mostly done. I'm really excited with how this turned out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this longer, just kind of free-form building kind of episode. And if you guys want to see more of this, let me know in a comment, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.